Hey, just a reminder before I begin. If you came here for my science-related content, I put an icon in my thumbnail of either a cross, for my theological content, or an atom for my science and or secular content, or both if the video covers both. Hello, I'm Dane, and this is Dane Explains. Many people think that Catholics have too much of an attachment to Mary, the mother of Jesus, to the point of worshipping her. While that's not the case, there is another outlandish-sounding claim that is true. Catholics think Mary is the Queen of Heaven. Why is that? Let me explain why. Although Catholics refer to Mary as Queen of Heaven more than any other group, it isn't just a Catholic practice, and it's not a new one either. The practice of calling Mary Queen of Heaven started to become popular as far back as the 6th century, long before the Protestant Reformation. However, its official recognition goes back even further than that. It was officially adopted as a title for Mary at the Council of Ephesus in the year 431, but it was actually used by theologians even earlier. Ephraim the Syrian referred to Mary as queen in his writings, and his mentor, Jacob, Bishop of Nisibis, was one of the attendees at the Council of Nicaea, which is even accepted by many Protestants today. There are even references going back all the way to Origen of Alexandria, who referred to Mary using royal titles. Origen was a theologian of the 2nd and 3rd centuries, so barely more than a century after Jesus. So referring to Mary as queen goes back a long way. But why? I think most Christians would agree that Jesus is considered the King of Heaven. Actually, the king of everyone and everything that doesn't reject him. The angel Gabriel stated during the Annunciation in Luke 1:32 that God would give Jesus the throne of his father David, and that he would rule forever. So, it's quite clear Jesus is intended to be a king, and there are of course numerous other places in the Bible where the Jews claim that Jesus considered himself the king of the Jews, which was actually the claim that gave the Romans grounds to crucify Jesus, and even then, he didn't deny it. That being said, every king needs a queen, right? Traditionally in medieval Europe, it was important for a king to marry, if he hadn't already, so he could have a queen to bear him an heir. Jesus, of course, doesn't need an heir. He is king forever, as I already stated, and Jesus' bride, who he has yet to marry, is usually agreed to be the church. However, nowhere in scripture is the church referred to as the queen, or a princess for that matter. This is because Jesus is a king in the line of David. Unlike more modern kings and queens, in David's day, getting an heir usually wasn't that difficult, because he didn't have to worry about the Christian teaching of a man only being able to be married to one woman at a time. The king would not just have many wives, but many concubines as well. This would make who was queen and who wasn't a complicated matter to figure out by modern standards. So it wasn't one of the wives who was considered the queen, but the king's mother instead, as it was pointed out in the narrative between King Solomon and his mother Bathsheba. On an interesting side note there, Bathsheba interceding on the behalf of Solomon's subjects is seen by Catholics as evidence for Mary's ability to intercede, since she was Jesus' mother. Now, the setup in the Old Testament is nice, but is there any reference to Mary as queen in the New Testament? Yes, there is, by the man tasked with taking care of Mary after Jesus' ascension, the Apostle John. In Revelation 12, John sees a woman clothed with the sun, standing on the moon with a crown of 12 stars on her head. The 12 stars refer to the 12 apostles and the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, that's a lot of 12s there. She's clearly being depicted as a queen. Now, I've heard people argue this woman symbolizes the church, as the church is often depicted in the Bible as a woman. This might be the case, but many prophecies have more than one meaning, however. John describes the woman as pregnant and giving birth to Jesus. So, he clearly has Mary, the mother of Jesus, in mind when he's describing the woman. So the Catholic idea of Mary as Queen of Heaven is pretty well founded and goes all the way back to the Apostle John. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press the like button. Subscribe to my channel and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon to get extra content and special perks. Link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, Until next time, have a great week.